Okay, everybody, let's do clarinet assembly and how to hold the thing. Woo! So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the case. Remember that the label is always read like a book. It's not going to be upside down. So if it's upside down, you go try to open it, it's going to fall out and you're going to feel dumb when it's over with. So make sure it's reading like a book, okay? When you lift it open, you're going to see all these pieces. OMG, Mr. Butler, which one of these things do I grab first? Great question. I'm going to try to do the best I can to tell you with my camera angles that I have currently. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to build from the bottom up, okay? So grab the bell, and then you're going to grab the piece of clarinet that has the thumb rest on it. Okay, every clarinet is going to have some sort of thumb rest on it. It's a little piece that sticks out over the back. It's got a little piece of cork underneath. It's also got a really wide bottom. Okay, these two pieces are going to go together. Now, if they don't go together, that's where cork grease comes in. You've heard me talk about cork grease before, but it's stuff that comes like in something like this. You're going to want to lube up those corks. If you have not seen me do that before on camera and you're not sure what I'm talking about, get in touch with me. I'll show you what to do. But most of you guys at this point have seen me go through that process. So we're going to put them together. Make sure that when you go to put the bell to the lower joint, that you shield the key from getting bent up. We don't want to be crushing down on this rod and pushing on it with the edge of our hand. We want to kind of be like on top of it. So I like to grab it about right there. And my clarinet down here is really hard to get on. So if I was smart, which I'm not all the time, like tonight, I would have greased that lower cork in. The amount of pressure I had to put on was quite a bit. All right, so now that I'm on, hopefully I didn't hurt my clarinet, we're now going to go to the upper joint, okay? The upper joint is going to be the other big part of the instrument that's in the case. It's going to have this little doodad right here called the bridge key. Okay, it bridges the top clarinet to the bottom of the clarinet. It's also probably got the label in the front. It's got this little patch of keys, has this set of 4 thingy on the side. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to find our thumb rest. Remember the thumb rest that helped us understand that it was the lower joint? Okay, we're going to line up this part of the clarinet with that thumb rest part of the clarinet. So thumb rest, this long thing with this hole on the back, these things are going to go together. Now, when you get to this point on the clarinet and putting it together, there's some danger moments, okay? Right here, there's a danger moment. See these 2 little keys right here that are about to hit each other on the side? We got to make sure those 2 guys don't hurt each other, okay? So when we start putting down, we want to watch those 2 keys. And as soon as it starts getting close, and you've got some tension on the cork, go ahead and flip it around so you can see the front side of the holes. And I want you to, what we call, lift the bridge key. We're going to push down on the middle key, this see the 2 silver rings, the second silver ring, and you can know if you're doing it right because the bridge key will lift up. Okay? Once that bridge key is lifted up, we're then going to take some light pressure and wiggle it forward, just a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And now I can let go and my bridge key is safely on top of the bottom bridge key, and I didn't bend any rods on my clarinet, and it's completely 100% put together correctly so far. You'll notice that all the holes are nice and neat, straight and aligned. The back of the clarinet has the straight line going through to the thumb rest. All that is very important. If that is not the case, stop, rewind, try it again. It's okay. People mess this up a lot. The next part gets to be semi-simple. We're just going to grab what's called the barrel. Okay. We're going to gently wiggle that on to the upper joint. I'm taking good care not to grab these keys and ratchet down tension on them, especially with less expensive clarinets. You can bend these keys real fast, and if you do that, guys and gals, you are quickly into a world of repairs. And some clarinets are made of weaker metal than others. You can really bend them up, and they're unfixable at a certain point. You just have to go buy another one, which is totally lame. We don't want to have to do that. All right, Last piece before we put the ligature and reed and all that stuff together is the mouthpiece. Another piece of cork. Make sure this is lubed up so it's easy to get on. Same deal. I'm going to wedge this sucker against my waist. I'm going to... Ooh, we probably should say this. You got to make sure that this... see the opening of the tip of the mouthpiece? That needs to be in line with the straight line that we've already created on the back side. So see this long line? Okay, that's where this opening of the mouthpiece is going to be aimed. Okay? I'm going to be quiet for a second and show you that. I'm going to show you the subsequent side. That's what the front looks like. Okay? Now, we got to get this down, so let's wiggle it down. And we're on. All right. Everybody in band so far has gotten the spiel about how to put your ligature and reeds together, so I'm going to quickly get mine ready. Don't forget the back side. All right. And then we're on. Okay, reed's on. I'm checking to make sure that my reed is nice and straight. I'm going to drop my ligature on. I'm going to tighten the screws just enough so that it keeps my reed from moving. Any more than that, and you're going to have a tough time. Okay, so second part of this is going to be how do we hold this silly thing? It's got so many buttons. What I don't even know where to. Do I blow on this end? I don't even know what to do. Okay, so it actually is made pretty easy because we see this thumb rest. So allow me to say this very clearly so you never ever forget. Your right hand. Take your right hand. I solemnly swear that right hand. Yes, that one. Take your thumb of that right hand and stick it underneath this thumb rest. If you've got that, great. Now, wrap your fingers around gently and cover with your 3 fingers the 3 rings, index, middle, ring. Oh, wrong direction. Thumb, index, middle, ring with your right hand. Okay? Now, our left hand is going to go on the upper half of the clarinet. It's going to go up here. Also makes it fairly easy because we have these rings. Look at this backside ring. Your thumb is going to be on that guy. On the front side of the clarinet, we have one exception rule here, and that is the fact that this hole right here does not have a ring. What? Why doesn't it have a ring, Mr. Butler? I didn't design the thing, don't ask me. It's not there. You have to just remember. So we're going to put our index finger over this one, our middle finger over this one, and then our ring finger. Notice how I have a pretty gold wedding ring. That one goes right there over top of that hole. Okay, so on the back side, it'll look like this. Thumb. And on the front side, you'll have those keys pressed with those fingers. Okay. I'm going to be quiet, let you take a look at that. Okay. When you go to play the thing, make sure that you're thinking to yourself, good mouth technique, just like you learned how to blow on the mouthpiece barrel. You want to apply that here. We're going to try a note where we play no fingers, okay? No fingers. Some students like to find it easier to hold the barrel right here when they go to play their first note. You can do that if you want, but eventually you're not going to be able to do that, and you're going to have this left hand in the correct spot. Okay, let's teach you the first note we're going to learn next week, at the end of the week, which is going to be your F clarinets. F is going to be one finger pushed down, and that is your thumb. The thumb. This guy right there. Quick disclaimer, if you don't cover this hole all the way, if it is ever so slightly off center from that hole, it will not make a noise. See that right there? If I blow on that note, it is not going to make the right noise. I'll show you. It's kind of a silly sound, right? You got to make sure you're covering it all the way. All right, so that's how we assemble. Now, when you go to disassemble the clarinet, it goes in the exact opposite order. What was the last thing we did? You remember? The reed. Right. So unscrew the ligature ever so slightly, wiggle it up with the reed, take the reed, secure it into its reed case. Everybody's heard me preach about this so far, but this is one of the most dangerous parts of putting away your clarinet every day. Don't mess this up. You want to go very slowly and deliberately so you don't bust your reed tip. Okay? Back into the case it goes. Ligature goes back in. Very good. Next step, we're going to start with the mouthpiece and work our way to the bottom. Grab mouthpiece into the case. Grab barrel into the case. If any of these are hard to pull off, more cork grease. Okay. When you go to take the upper joint off of the lower joint, because the bridge key is already over top of the lower joint key, you don't have to protect the bridge key when coming off. You don't have to lift it with that middle finger. Instead, just grab this empty space right here carefully, not to bend this key, and wiggle. Mr. Butler, your corks are too dry. More cork grease. If it's that hard and you have to use like muscle, it is too hard. Okay. All right. And that upper joint goes back in the case. Next, we've got our lower joint coming off. Remember, we want to grab in the part of the clarinet where there's not as many keys. You can touch the keys, just try not to touch the bars too much, these rods. Okay. I'm such a bad dude for not having those corks greased up. Guys, if you have to wrench it down, it ain't good. Okay? Bell and lower joint back into the case, and then you are done. Finished. Voila, you did the thing. Practice that a bunch. Do it over and over again. Clarinet is one of those things where the more you get your hands around it and practice holding it without thinking too hard about it, and you get it right 5 or 6 times in a row, you're probably not going to forget it anytime soon, especially if you're doing clarinet every day or every other day for a while. So that's clarinet. Hope that was fun. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to getting your video of you playing your first note in band soon. Okay? Bye-bye.